The human hair industry is pretty dark and actually gets quite disturbing. So it's important that we all make educated choices when it comes to buying human hair products. Most people don't think twice when they buy a wig from Shein or Temu or AliExpress and even Amazon. It's understandable that most people are swayed by the price tag and may not consider why this human hair wig is so damn cheap. This video is absolutely not intended to shame anybody. It's simply to educate you on the common myths and unethical practices surrounding the human hair industry. And to also be transparent about my own business, Lizzie'sLocks.com. It's not a new thing for sellers to fabricate a little or downright mislead people into buying their products. And unfortunately, this is especially rampant in the hair industry. Hair extension girlies will remember this one. When human hair extensions started becoming more accessible to everybody, sellers would market the extensions in grades. So first off, it started as 5A grade, and then it kept going up and up and up till it was about 12A grade. And then we learnt that hair grades were actually completely made up. It was just a marketing tactic to make their products seem more luxurious and have a reason to jack up the prices. Or the fact that only 2% of the entire world has naturally blonde hair. But you have suppliers out there saying that their hair is virgin hair when it's clearly been bleached and processed to oblivion. I'm not saying that virgin hair doesn't exist, but what I am saying is light blonde bleached hair that you get on blank wigs is not virgin hair. Virgin hair is untouched hair. Next, they were marketing their hair as European or Brazilian or the most illustrious and sought after of all, Russian. Again, this is entirely a marketing gimmick. I'm not saying that Russian or Brazilian people don't donate their hair to make wigs. I'm just saying it's rare. And trust me, you would be paying much more than a couple of $100s for that wig. Most of the time, like the hair grades, it's just a marketing gimmick to be able to jack up the prices and make products feel more fancy for unsuspecting customers. And let's be honest, that is super unethical and gross. Consider this. The hair on the wigs that I use is Indian. A lot of other suppliers use Indian hair and also Chinese hair. The population of India and China combined is close to 3 billion. Russia's population is 143 million, and in comparison, that's next to nothing. Which do you think is a more realistic and sustainable option? Furthermore, a Russian person is not likely to shave off their hair by choice, even if they're getting paid. And let's be real, most people are going to want to be well compensated for doing something like this. How much would it cost for you to donate your hair? I'm genuinely curious, so please let me know in the comments. If you're truly getting authentic Russian hair, then you should have a lot of questions about where that hair was sourced from, but more on that later. In India, men and women shave their hair for religious purposes. The temple where this takes place then collects the hair and sells it to wholesalers. This is how the hair used in Lizzie's Locks wigs is sourced. Men and women donate their hair to the temple willingly. For anyone who's unfamiliar with this practice, it's called tonsuring.
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 It's tonsuring. Thank you. The idea is that your hair is like an offering to either give thanks to or ask for help from the gods. Once the hair is shaved off, it becomes the property of the temple. Temples generally claim that the money that's made from selling this hair goes to charitable activities and the community, although it's very unlikely that these worshippers are even aware of what their hair is being used for after they leave the temple. Some of them may not even know what hair extensions are. I understand that that's not entirely honest, but this type of hair sourcing is certainly better than the alternative. Unethical hair sourcing gets real grim, so buckle in for this next bit. But before I get into that, I wanted to remind you to please subscribe, as it really helps out my small channel and my small business. Okay, thank you so much for your support, and back to the video. Because of the density of the population, most hair used to make wigs is from India or China. Unfortunately, a lot of this hair is sourced by taking advantage of vulnerable people. Some people may be coerced to donating their hair for next to no compensation, if any at all. There have been stories of homeless folks literally having their hair stolen off their heads while they sleep. And these stories are not only limited to India and China. Remember when I spoke before about the illustrious Russian hair? There were reports of people sustaining injuries when their hair was forcibly removed by prison gangs. I don't even want to think about that. If that's not bad enough, the next bit is really gross. And I don't just mean unethical gross, I mean dirty, disgusting, grimy gross. Some hair that is used to make human hair wigs is literally pulled out of the gutter and drains. That's what they make to adorn your pretty little head. Okay, so those examples are obviously very unethical and gross, but I understand that some people's idea of what's ethical may differ from mine. For instance, some people don't like the idea of temples not being 100% transparent with the worshippers about where their hair really ends up. And that's valid, I understand. But to me, I feel as long as nobody is being forced to do anything that they don't want to do, then I can sleep at night. I would much rather the hair be sold from people to benefit from it than it just be discarded. It is also questionable if the profits made from selling worshippers' hair is really being used to benefit the community. Some popular temples could make thousands of dollars every year from this, and maybe even more. I like to believe that God-fearing folk wouldn't want to mess with their karma like that, but we all know that religious establishments can't always be trusted. To be perfectly fair, I couldn't find any more information about this or any articles to go further into it than them just making the claim. As wigs are becoming more and more popular, it's really important that, if you can, you make an ethical decision, or at least an educated decision when you're purchasing one. I know it's also hard to know who to believe, with so many dodgy sellers making crazy claims. Sometimes all you can do is make your best judgment based on the information that you have. Although this is pretty much the entirety of my knowledge on this issue, please feel free to leave any questions in the comment section. And if you'd like to learn more about the wigs that I stock at lizziesvlogs.com, watch this video next.